not a cheater, and that's nothing that I ever thought of. So.
Sometimes life has a way of circling back around, even when you think you've finally held everything together long enough to outrun the chaos. And for Melody Shari, the woman fans once called unbreakable, that circle has come back faster, heavier, and more painfully than anyone expected. The same strength that kept her moving through betrayal, heartbreak, and public humiliation is now being tested all over again.
You walk in somebody's establishment, you can see it. You came to my store uninvited. You should have been escorted out like you did Tisha.
Oh, Wanda's here? What's your problem?
Okay,
So
sweetie.
you're not
Let me
sweetie.
check.
I'm not your
Okay.
sweetie. I'm stepping to you because you got a lot to say on my social media and I'm in your face today.
Bang your baby
A storm is hitting her life from angles she never imagined, not from enemies, not from those who disliked her brand, but from places she once believed were finally quiet. It's the kind of moment where even the strongest person feels their knees shake, where confidence wavers, and where you wonder if karma really waits for the right moment or if it simply arrives the second you think you've found peace. And this is the part that shocked everyone. After years of standing tall, after rebuilding her confidence and working to protect her children, her business, and her peace, Melody now finds herself watching the same cycle she fought so hard to escape. The spotlight that once illuminated her triumph now exposes a new twist, and this time, the pressure is so intense that fans feel like they're watching her spirit bend under the weight.
Threatening me. What you gonna do is keep all my children's names. Bang your baby dad. That's what I said. Back up, and you back up, and you look like you better put your hands on. No, you pointed at me first. Don't point at me.
If you get in the middle of that, if something happens to you, then Marcel Scott goes to jail.
Well, there needs to be some kind of boundary in regards to.
Oh, no.
If you want to mention somebody other than who you talking to, I think I'm talking about what I want to say. So,
People are whispering, critics are circling, and unexpected voices are taking shots again. But here's the twist no one saw coming. Some of the hits she's facing right now aren't coming from enemies, they're coming from karma that's decided to return in the most uncomfortable way. To understand why the impact feels so heavy, we need to go back, not to make her look weak, but to understand how someone who survived so much could still be pushed to this point. Because the truth is, Melody's past isn't just a story. It's a reminder that wounds don't disappear just because the cameras cut to the next season. Melody didn't rise from a quiet life or a simple journey. She became a household name because viewers watched her pick up the pieces of a broken marriage in real time. She tried to protect her dignity while the man she trusted most tore down their home with choices that cut deeper than any single argument ever could. When Martell stepped outside their marriage, it wasn't just infidelity, it was betrayal wrapped in public embarrassment. Every whisper became a headline. Every rumor turned into a meme. And every moment she tried to hold herself together was picked apart by people who had never lived through anything close to what she faced. People forget how hard she fought to stay composed during those years.
Service announcement. Wanda Morley. Let me tell you something. The only thing that's whack is your whack hairdo and your whack ugly looking food truck you had in your background today and your whack food. That's what's whack. Real talk, lady, I ain't seen you in I don't know how long. I ain't been thinking about you. And the funny thing is, me and your daughter and your son-in-law actually have right now a decent communication piece. In fact, we actually kind of okay. So I really don't know where all this energy from you keeps coming from. But let me tell you something. I used to literally try to spare you because of the relationship I've had with your daughter, the relationship I've had with your grandkids. You get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to try to spare you. But I was hoping you did tonight what you did. And you spewed out a lot of false information, my girl. You spewed out a lot of hate and false information. I already done text my attorney. File it expeditiously. I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. Ain't no more sparing of nothing, no shape, form.
The cheating scandal wasn't a one-time hit, it dragged on for years. Melody tried counseling. She tried rebuilding. She tried giving space. She tried forgiving. But every time she thought she had fixed the cracks, something new shattered her again. And when she finally walked away, when she realized that staying was killing her spirit, she left with nothing but her children, her dreams, and the courage to rebuild from scratch. The divorce didn't instantly free her from the pain. Public divorce is a different kind of trauma. Your worst days become entertainment for strangers. Your grief becomes a topic for social media. Even the moments that should be private get pulled apart by people who will never fully understand how deep those wounds run. And as if navigating heartbreak wasn't enough, there came the ongoing battles, custody issues, disagreements about how the kids should be raised, whispers that tried to question her parenting, and online drama stirred by people who seemed determined to keep the fire burning even after the relationship ended. Melody found herself fighting battles she didn't choose, battles she didn't create, and battles she didn't deserve. But she fought them anyway, for her kids and for her name. And then came the family drama on the show, the conflicts with Wanda, the cold tension with Letitia, and the constant feeling that she was carrying the blame for situations she didn't start. For years, Melody defended her family, protected her children from unnecessary attacks, and tried to remain professional even when people pushed her to her limits. She stood tall through accusations that would make most people crumble. She tried to rise above it all, focusing on her career and building something meaningful from the ashes. Her skincare brand started growing. Her speaking engagements increased. Fans began calling her a symbol of resilience. She became the woman who survived, the woman who conquered, the woman who refused to break no matter how many times life tried to shatter her. But here's where life gets complicated, because even when you rise, even when you shine, even when you try to move forward with grace, karma still watches. And sometimes karma doesn't hit the people who hurt you. Sometimes it tests you instead, asking whether you're truly ready for the next chapter or whether you still have lessons to learn. Fast forward to now, and Melody is facing a new wave of tension that nobody expected, not even her most loyal supporters. The spotlight she once used to reclaim her power is exposing cracks that are incredibly hard for her to hide. Fans started noticing a shift not just in her public persona, but in her energy, her tone, and her reactions. It became clear something heavier was happening behind the scenes. People began whispering about the custody situation again. Rumors surfaced about disagreements involving the children, and critics claimed Melody wasn't as strong as she wanted the world to believe. Small comments online turned into heated debates. People who once cheered her on suddenly questioned her choices. It felt like the universe was throwing every test at her at once. And then came the biggest twist. Melody found herself dealing with backlash that wasn't only coming from outsiders. Some of the same people who once stood beside her, people she believed understood her struggles, began distancing themselves. A few even hinted at disagreements she hadn't publicly acknowledged. Suddenly, her circle felt smaller. The support felt thinner. She looked like a woman carrying the weight of 10 different battles all at once. That's when fans started saying it, Melody looks crushed. Not defeated, not broken, but crushed in a way that feels deeper than simple sadness. As if something heavy is sitting on her chest and won't move. Maybe it's the pressure of being a single mother constantly trying to do the right thing. Maybe it's the exhaustion of fighting for peace while others poke at old wounds. Maybe it's the emotional cost of always being the strong one. Or maybe karma is simply circling back, not to punish her, but to force her to confront things she pushed aside while surviving that painful breakup. Here's the twist nobody expected: karma isn't always about revenge. Sometimes it's about reflection. Sometimes it pushes you to acknowledge the parts of your story you never healed. Sometimes it comes back to remind you of the pieces you forgot to mend because you were too busy protecting your children and rebuilding your career. Melody's current struggles are hitting so hard because they're forcing her to face emotions she never fully dealt with. The past is reaching into her present. Choices she made in survival mode are now demanding attention. And the pressure is showing in ways that even she can't hide behind a confident smile. But here's where the story gets even more complicated. Social media is dividing once again. Some people feel sympathy, saying she deserves peace after everything she's been through. They argue that the universe is testing her only because her next chapter is bigger than anything she's faced before. Others believe karma is coming back because Melody didn't handle certain relationships the right way, or because her confidence sometimes crossed into territory that rubbed people the wrong way. Some claim she moved on too quickly, or that she didn't give herself enough time to truly heal. The conversations are messy, emotional, and at times cruel, a reflection of how public her life has become. And while she faces this chaos, Melody is also trying to maintain her brand, her reputation, her businesses, and most importantly, her role as a mother. Fans see the weight in her eyes. They hear the strain in her voice during live sessions. They notice the way her smile doesn't reach her eyes the same way it used to. Behind the scenes, she's likely dealing with conversations, meetings, and situations that leave her emotionally drained long before the cameras start rolling. But what nobody expected was the moment where she seemed genuinely overwhelmed. The woman who once stood unshaken is now showing cracks, not because she's weak but because she's human. Karma isn't taking her down, it's pushing her to her limit, forcing her to rebuild again, not from betrayal this time, but from emotional exhaustion. What impacts her the most isn't the drama. It's the responsibility. The responsibility of protecting her children from the noise. The responsibility of keeping her business alive. The responsibility of staying composed when critics circle around like vultures. The responsibility of being the woman everyone expects her to be. But expectations can be heavy chains. And Melody is carrying more chains than anyone realizes. This is where karma feels cruel. Not because it's punishing her, but because it's demanding emotional truth at a time when all she wants is peace. She survived infidelity. She survived public humiliation. She survived being torn apart on television. But this next chapter is asking her to survive something different, the weight of unresolved pain. And that's why this moment feels so crushing. Karma isn't here to destroy her. It's here to break her open, to teach her something she wasn't ready to learn before. It's teaching her that survival and healing are two different journeys. One keeps you alive. The other sets you free. But here's the part that will define Melody's entire next chapter: how she responds to this new wave. Will she crumble under the pressure? Will she retreat from the spotlight? Will she stand tall again and reclaim the story the way she has so many times before? Because if there's anything we've learned about Melody Shari, it's that she never stays down for long. Every setback in her life has pushed her towards something bigger. Every painful chapter has shaped her into a stronger version of herself. This moment may feel crushing, but it might also be the moment that transforms her the most. The real twist isn't the drama. It's the growth waiting on the other side. Life has a way of forcing strength from places you didn't know existed. And right now, Melody is standing in that uncomfortable place where strength and vulnerability collide. She's learning that being honest about pain doesn't make her weak. It makes her human. And sometimes, the most powerful comeback begins in the quiet moments where you're forced to face the pieces you tried to bury. Fans will keep watching, not because they want to see her fall, but because they've seen her rise before. They know the fire inside her hasn't gone out, it's just waiting for the right moment to ignite again. Karma may be testing her, but it's also giving her a chance to rewrite the story one more time. And knowing Melody, she will. She always does.